The Wild Life, a journey into the untamed. In the heart of an ancient forest, far from the reaches of civilization, lies a world untouched by time, an untamed wilderness where the rhythm of nature governs all. This is the realm known as the wild life, a place where animals roam freely and the laws of the jungle reign supreme. Legends tell of this enchanted forest, where magic weaves its way through the trees, and creatures both fierce and gentle call it home. Our story begins with Alex, a young adventurer who had always felt a deep connection to nature. Living in the bustling city had never suited him. The noise, the crowds, and the concrete jungle felt like a cage to him. His heart yearned for the wild, for the thrill of exploration and the freedom to wander. So one day, he packed his backpack with the essentials: maps, a compass, a sturdy knife, and a journal, and set out to discover the untouched corners of the world. His destination: the fabled wild life, a place few dared to explore. The journey to reach the forest was long and perilous, taking him through winding mountain paths, over rushing rivers, and into dense jungles. With every step, he could feel the pull of the wilderness, as if the forest itself was calling to him. After weeks of traveling, Alex finally stood at the edge of the wild life, its towering trees casting long shadows across the land. The moment he crossed the threshold, the air changed. It was thick with the scent of pine and earth, filled with the sound of rustling leaves and the distant calls of animals. There was an energy here, an ancient magic that hummed through the ground and vibrated in the wind. Alex could feel it in his bones. The wild life was alive. His first few days in the forest were filled with wonder and awe. He encountered creatures he had only read about in books: majestic deer with antlers like branches, cunning foxes with coats of shimmering silver, and birds whose songs seemed to tell stories of the ages. But as he ventured deeper into the forest, the tone of his adventure began to change. The wild life was not just a sanctuary for peaceful creatures. It was also home to predators, and the law of survival was absolute. One evening, as Alex sat by his campfire, he heard a low growl from the shadows beyond the firelight. His heart raced as he grabbed his knife, scanning the darkness for the source of the sound. Emerging from the trees was a massive wolf, its eyes glowing in the firelight, its fur black as night. The creature was unlike any wolf he had ever seen, larger and more menacing, with an air of intelligence in its gaze. But instead of attacking, the wolf circled Alex, watching him intently. After what felt like an eternity, it disappeared back into the forest, leaving Alex shaken but unharmed. The next day, Alex began to realize that the forest was testing him. The wildlife had its own set of rules, and only those who respected the balance of nature would be allowed to survive. He started to see signs: ancient carvings on the trees, symbols etched into the ground, evidence that he was not the first to venture into this wilderness. There had been others, explorers and wanderers like him, who had either perished or passed the test of the wildlife. One evening, while exploring a hidden glade, Alex stumbled upon an ancient ruin, overgrown with vines and moss. At its center stood a stone altar, and upon it rested a small, glowing orb. Intrigued, Alex approached the altar and reached for the orb. The moment his fingers touched it, a vision flashed before his eyes. A vision of the forest long ago, when the trees were young, and the creatures of the wild life lived in harmony with a mysterious guardian spirit. The vision revealed that the forest had once been protected by this spirit, a being of immense power who ensured the balance of life and death in the wilderness. But over time, the spirit had faded, and with its disappearance, the balance of the forest had begun to tip. The predators grew more aggressive, the prey more scarce, and the magic that sustained the wild life began to unravel. Alex realized that the orb in his hand was the last remnant of the guardian spirit's power. Determined to restore the balance, Alex set out on a new quest, to return the orb to its rightful place and awaken the spirit of the forest. But the journey would not be easy. The deeper he traveled into the heart of the wild life, the more dangerous it became. The predators he encountered were no longer content to watch from the shadows. Packs of wolves stalked him at night, and great eagles circled above, waiting for the moment to strike. But Alex was not alone. Along the way, he encountered Luna, a mysterious woman who had been living in the forest for as long as she could remember. She was a healer, a wanderer, and a protector of the wild life. With her knowledge of the forest and its creatures, Luna guided Alex through the most treacherous parts of the wilderness, teaching him the ways of the wild. As they journeyed together, Alex and Luna formed a deep bond, united by their shared respect for nature and their desire to restore the balance. They faced countless challenges, crossing raging rivers, battling fierce predators, and deciphering ancient riddles carved into the stone by the forest's ancestors. With every trial they overcame, the bond between them grew stronger. Finally, after many weeks of travel, they reached the heart of the wild life, the sacred grove, a place where the trees seemed to touch the sky and the air hummed with magic. In the center of the grove stood an ancient tree, its bark glowing faintly with the power of the guardian spirit. As Alex approached the tree, the orb in his hand began to pulse with light. He placed it at the base of the tree, and for a moment the forest fell silent. Then, with a soft sigh, the tree awakened. A figure emerged from the bark, ethereal and radiant, the spirit of the wild life, reborn. The guardian spirit thanked Alex and Luna for their courage and sacrifice, and with a wave of its hand, the balance of the forest was restored. The predators retreated, the prey flourished, and the magic of the wild life returned in full force. Alex knew that his journey had come to an end. He had found what he was searching for: peace, freedom, and a connection to the natural world that would stay with him forever. As he and Luna stood beneath the canopy of the sacred grove, watching the sun filter through the leaves, they knew that they had become part of the wild life, and the wild life had become part of them. And so, the legend of the wild life continued, passed down through the generations as a tale of adventure, magic, and the enduring bond between humans and nature. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Widescope for more diverse content. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Also, please suggest ways I can create better quality videos so that I can provide you with even better content in the future.